Hello, Kevin here again. I would like to show you how to configure a keypad from default configuration into a custom configuration and how you can actually use and load template files. So the first thing we do is we have our desktop here and we have the icon for running the keypad configuration program. I click on it and it does not operate. It does not run. The reason for that is because it did not detect a keypad on the system ready for configuration mode. So the first thing we're going to do is plug in a keypad and press the bottom two lower left buttons number 2 and 3 on the bottom row at the same time to put it in configuration mode. At that time we'll hear 2 beeps. The keypad just entered configuration mode. Now I'm going to execute the program. Alright, so now we have the configuration program. First thing we do is hit connect and then we read from the keypad. A default configuration for the keypad, and you can see here it says this configuration read from keypad. We're in current configuration tab. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to edit this configuration, and this allows us to turn the speaker on and off, and it allows us to change what we might get a feedback sound on if you was to turn on the caps lock, the scroll lock, or the num lock. Now then, in the configuration mode, default mode 1 is 1 through 0 across the top and A through J across the bottom. If we were to look at mode number 2, we have the same thing, 1 through 0 across the top, but the bottom is the same except for the last character, J, and that was converted into the enter key. And so the third configuration mode is an enter key entered after each number. So 1 enter, 2 enter, 3 enter, all the way down to J enter. And then our last configuration mode is mode 4. Mode 4 is a configuration where you can build and install your own configurations. In an earlier video I showed you a default sample CNC template that I had. Now I'm going to load a template in here. So I click on this and I click on CNC2. We're going to load this template file. And you can see now that it has loaded this in there. We have the sound enabled, we have it set to scroll lock, we have all these buttons there. So I'm going to write this configuration to the file. We get 3 beeps. Then I'm going to disconnect. And this is our pre-read buffer, and it shows what it was prior to writing out our other configuration. So I open Notepad, and there are only a few of those keys that are actually a visible printable key on the keyboard. Alright, let's go back into the configuration program. Now then, I currently have the keypad connected in keypad mode, not in configuration mode. So I'm going to unplug it from the USB 2 port and plug it back in. Okay, it's connected up, and I'm going to read the keypad configuration. You can see of the keys that are entered, this M54 would be able to be displayed, the 52, 53, the space and the tab, enter, but the function keys really have nothing to show, or the arrow keys. So if we want to edit this configuration and go back to mode 3 here, I'm going to write this configuration, disconnect, jump back over here, highlight all that stuff and delete it. Now I'm going to push the very top button. We get a 1 enter, 2 enter, 3. And it does each one just like we would expect. The bottom row. There we go. So that is a mode 3 operation. Let's go back into the keypad configuration. I'm going to unplug it, plug it back in, push the 2 buttons, and the 2 buttons I pushed was the F6 and the F7. Those two, that's where they're identified on the keypad at this point. It's not the function of those 2 key values, it's the buttons themselves. So the bottom row and buttons 2 and 3 on the bottom row is what you push at the same time to get into configuration mode. And you do that within the first 3 seconds of plugging the keypad into the USB port. If you do not, then it will go straight into keypad operation mode and run in the mode that has been selected to run in. So we connect, we read, and here's what our configuration looks like. And if we hit Edit Configuration, and then we go to Mode 4, you can see that the actual keys for the previous Mode 4 are still there. They are written in the buffer. And so they all we have to do is say Write Configuration. Now we're operating in Mode 4 with all of these buttons programmed the way they are, with the enabled sound and set on scroll lock. Now I'd like to show you another template that I've got here. So I'm going to load the template, and I have one called M4, Mode 4 Blanks. So if I open that, I can see what that is, and I can write this out. And I just erased the Mode 4 configuration that was there. So the escape, the F4, F3, F2, and M54 enter, all the different buttons have been deleted. So you don't have to do that. That's just one that I have to wipe out the configuration to get it blank. So let's look at this this other one, Full Fill 400. So I'm going to open this, and here you can see that each character is loaded with the maximum number of characters that it can load. And so we actually have 20 characters can be dumped into each key space. And auto repeat is not turned on for any of these, and these are just standard characters I typed in off the keyboard. So I hit OK for this, and you can see what they are. Now when I write the configuration, it takes a moment longer because there's so much data to write out. This one here, you can see that apostrophe, semicolon, LKJH, and so you can just write anything you want into these things. Any characters you like to do. So that took about 2 to 3 seconds to write all 400 characters out there. But it certainly wrote them out there. So we're going to disconnect here. Go into Notepad. Let's highlight all this stuff to get it out of the way. And then delete it. And then I pushed the first button, which was the top button on the left-hand side. You can see how it just dumps them right out there. Puts them right into the buffer. I'm going to press Enter on the regular keyboard, and I'm doing that afterwards so you can see the difference. Now the bottom row, those are all 20 characters. And so I was pushing the Enter key on the keyboard, on the other keyboard at the same time. So there you have it. That's how you can configure the keypad. You've got the different modes of operation you can operate in, how you can load templates. One last thing here. Let's unplug this thing, plug it back in, put it in configuration mode, hit connect, read from keypad, edit this configuration. Now if we wanted to go through and change one of these, let's select this one, and we just type in, we have to back them out. Alright, we wrote hello there and put that in, and then I'm going to put a carriage return after that and hit OK. Now then, you can see here where we have hello space there, and then we repeat it. Now we could save this as a template file, so I'm going to click on save, and we'll do mod 400. So it's just a modified 400 character test. And there it is. Write this out. There it is. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth button over is hello there, exclamation, space, enter, repeat. So disconnect. We'll go here, and we'll just go on to the bottom of this. It doesn't matter. So we hit, this is the fourth button on the bottom, and here is the fifth. And I'm holding it down at this point. So that's kind of neat. Let me show you how fast it'll actually go. So I'm going to jump back over to the config program. I'm going to unplug this thing. I'm going to plug it back in. Buttons 2 and 3 on the bottom row, put it in configuration mode, connect, read, edit. We'll go to hello there, and we're going to change this to a short delay, no delay at all, and the speed of the write is going to be very fast. So 1 and 10. Say OK. We write it. All right, there we go. We're going to disconnect. Now, let's just make this big so we can see it all. And I'm going to push the hello there and hold it down. One time and hold. You can see how fast it's writing them out. So it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. All right, let's minimize this down. Go back over here. This is how you actually operate the keypad. And I will go into the configuration program. There is a driver that you have to load for being able to configure it. And that is a device driver, because the keypad, when you plug it in, it becomes a universal serial bus serial port. So it's a USB serial port. And once you take it out of configuration mode, it goes into a HID device keyboard and operates in that mode. So that's all I've got for right now, and come back and watch another video. Thank you.